Welcome to Truth and Company Boxing Podcast, another segment of 20 random questions. And tonight's guest is former professional boxer Billy Lyell. How you doing tonight, Billy?
I'm doing good, sir. Thanks for having me on.
Well, I appreciate coming on, man. I see you're a very busy man, and I want to get right to that. Now you actually have been out of the ring for about 10 or 11 years, right?
Yes, sir.
But you haven't stopped being involved in the sport like a lot of guys. Once they're done, some of them are done, man, but you're staying just as busy as when you were fighting. I mean, you got 2 gyms going, you're coaching, you got videos all over social media, like breaking down different things to do with fighting so that fans can understand it, the coaches can understand it. You got this thing called Friday night fights going on in your gyms. Let me in on a little bit on the videos and about the Friday night fights.
Yeah, so Friday night fights are very exciting. It just kind of came about. Some people at gym thought that we have something really unique, because it's boxing, and at the same time, it's kind of life coaching too. So we get the guys in the ring. We give guys an opportunity that, most of these guys aren't going to be professionals or top amateurs, but they want to compete. They want to test themselves. They want to push themselves. So every couple of weeks we get together. We call it Friday night fights. We have people down the gym. It's kind of open to the public. We have some free food, free giveaways. We just put on, great sparring matches. We have a couple of videographers there. And, we've had like over 1 million people watching on TikTok live. So it's really kind of taken off.
Oh, I've seen them. I've seen them myself. I've watched some of them myself. I think they're great. I just want to know now, like you said, it's just 100% sparring though. You guys call it Friday night fights, but there's no judges, right?
Yeah.
There's not even a referee, is there?
Yeah, there's no winners or losers, unless someone obviously has to quit or can't make it through. It's kind of like unsanctioned sparring. It's 100% though. And my ring is really little, so we have a 10 by 10 ring. So when you have a little ring, it makes for great action. So anybody looking to see some great action, just go to TikTok at Billy Lyell, Lyell, tomorrow night, 7:30, and I'm telling you what, you'll be in for a treat.
Now, are some of the guys a little bit different in the weight classes that spar?
Yeah, we kind of mix it up. It's kind of old school. There's not 27 weight divisions like there is nowadays. If guys are close, we'll throw them in. If somebody's, a little more experienced, he might go with a little bit bigger guy. So I've been around the game for 25 years. I'm not going to let anybody get hurt, but I kind of can know how to reach the levels of where people are at.
Oh, no, and anybody that watches the videos can see you are right outside the rope, standing right there in the corner, monitoring the whole thing.
Yeah.
So tell me about some of these videos, these separate videos that you've been doing on TikTok or Instagram and stuff about different things to do with boxing.
Yeah, just kind of, I have so much knowledge from the game. I fought 4 world champions. I fought for the IBF world title. So I was never the biggest, the strongest, the fastest person. So I had to rely on a lot of little subtleties, every trick, every nuance, every subtlety of the sport. I had to kind of master that to compete with the top level guys. So what happened was, I don't want to call anybody out by name, but you see a lot of garbage on the internet. People that never fought and just absolute, just shenanigans. So I don't go out of my way to say they're full of shit. I try to mind my own business, but I try to give, 100% facts. And when I tell people the videos I make, they're experiential. So this isn't something I watched on a movie or I read in a book. This is something I did in real life. And if people watch my videos on Instagram at Billy Lyell or TikTok at Billy Lyell, they're going to get things, whether, they're a fan watching it, they're going to learn something. Or more importantly, if they're an amateur or somebody that's competing or sparring, they're going to find things that they can apply day one. So these things, this isn't no voodoo crazy shit. This is stuff, a lot of times it's basic, but you can apply it to it day one in sparring. So, I know we're giving great value to the people watching the videos, and I think that's why they've been so well received.
Oh no, like I said, I've watched the fight videos and I've watched a lot of your instructional videos where you break things down. And honestly, one that caught my eye the most, and at first I didn't agree with it, and then I kind of listened to it a little bit more, was the sparring one. So explain that to some people, because I know coaches, there's a lot of different views when it comes to when you should put a fighter in for sparring.
So, the sparring, there's so much to sparring, but it's the most important aspect of boxing. Everything else is just practice. It's conditioning and fundamentals unless you're sparring. I could shag ground. I could hit off a pitching machine all day, but when I go against that live pitcher, it's a little bit different. So, with sparring, a couple things. So I believe in getting the guys in there quick. First of all is, that's the best way to learn. So number one, I seen guys as a coach. I seen guys look like world champions hitting the heavy bag, hitting the hand pass, hitting the speed bag. They get in the ring, they get hit once and they're done. So I'm not going to devote 2, 4, 6, 8 months, especially at a nonprofit gym where your coaches aren't getting paid. Somebody that's going to go in there, get hit in the face and once and quit. So we're going to find out, whether you want to fight quick, and that doesn't mean you're going to go in there and
No,
get hurt.
and I agree with, and I agree. No, go, and I agree with you. Once I listened to your video, because I used to do the same thing that a lot of other coaches did, and that's like walk them through the stages, like you were just talking about, and basically wasting time. And then by the time you get them up to sparring, they don't feel comfortable. They don't know how to take punches. They freak out, and then they leave the gym, and you never see them again. And you're like, wow, I just wasted 6 months.
Right. I mean, time is all of our, most important aspects we have. So I would say, it doesn't mean you're going to go in there in day one and go full out sparring with somebody that's another beginner, because that's just going to be like a street fight. So when I say full out sparring, it might be round one, we're just using the jab. So I'm teaching you how to parry the jab, knock it down, and you're throwing your left jab. And your opponent's doing the same thing. Maybe he throws his jab, you block, then you throw your jab, he blocks. And then you both throw at each other. But regardless, it's 100%, because you start throwing slow, lazy punches. Like I know a lot of these karate gyms, they just touch each other. And you get really bad habits, because if you throw slow punches, someone's going to counter you. Then you get in the ring, you throw a slow punch, you get countered, you get knocked out. So, you don't want to get used to seeing things half speed, and you don't get used to people throwing at you half speed. So if I have people at different levels, I would rather do this. I'd rather say, okay, you have more experience. You have some fights. Okay, you're a beginner. Okay, more experienced guy. You're going to only use your left jab. Left jab is all you got. Other guy, you can use 100% what you have. So, but I want people, even if they can't use all their weapons, going 100% in the ring.
All right. Well, let's get to these random 20 questions. You ready for these?
I'm ready.
All right. Question 1. How did you get involved in the sport of boxing?
Oh, gosh. When I was younger, I played some team sports, and I didn't like the idea that I could have a good game and we could lose, or I could have a bad game and we could win. So my dad, he said, if you're going to be like that, then we probably should find an individual sport. So the first sport I wanted to play, I grew up in the 90s, was tennis. I loved Andre Agassi. I said, I want to be a tennis player. My dad took me to a tennis lesson. I was hitting the ball, swinging, and having a great time. I loved it. And, I got back in the car, and the coach was saying I'm doing good. And I'm like, Dad, I found my sport, tennis. I want to be a tennis player. And I remember him looking at me saying, well, so that tennis lesson was like $30 for the hour. He's like, so you got to find a new sport. So I went to the boxing gym. I guess it was either like boxing or bowling. So he took me to a boxing gym, and, I just kind of fell in love with it just from the beginning.
So your whole life could have been different if it would have been cheaper for tennis lessons. You could have been a professional tennis player instead of a boxer.
100%. I don't know if, I don't know. I think I'd have been great. I think anything I put my mind to, I'd have been great at it. But I promise you, if they'd have paid for me to go to lessons, I'd never would have stepped foot in a boxing gym.
That's a very interesting story, that it could have went a whole different way.
Yeah.
All right. Question 2. Tell me your boxing Mount Rushmore, your favorite top guys in the sport, in history or in present.
I would have to say, right now, and I don't know how it's going to play out. I just really love Terrence Crawford. I love the way he fights, but, as much as the way he fights, I just like the way he handles himself. He just, he doesn't go around and look for the camera and say a bunch of crazy shit, but he comes to fight. And one thing, I don't know if everyone can tell, fighters will notice, but he's real mean when he gets in there. Like, he likes to fight. And if he gets you hurt, he's going to try to take you out. Now that being said, I think we got the best fight of the last maybe 30 years in front of us with Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford. This fight I've been waiting for probably for 5-6 years. It might have marinated a little bit too long. Crawford's 35, Spence's 33, but I still think they're probably dead even. And as much as I love Crawford, I can't say he's going to beat Spence. I mean, I want to lean towards him because he's my favorite fighter, but God, Spence is he's so strong. He's so tough, and he just brings it, and he's so physical in there. It's going to be, it's really a 50-50 fight.
Okay. So Crawford's on your Mount Rushmore. Give me 3 more.
Crawford, I love Triple G. I love the way he fought, especially Canelo. I thought he won both fights, the first 2 against Canelo. And especially those championship rounds 9, 10, 11, 12, you could tell he didn't know how to lose. He was the older man in the ring, and he dug so deep, and he beat Canelo's ass those last couple rounds. And I thought it was really a shame they took those fights from him. So he'd be number 2. I would say a good friend of mine, Kelly the Ghost Pavlik. To me, I mean, I seen him do things. He's the one that just blew my mind. His talent and ability were second to none. And I think that, if he'd had a little bit more longevity and things would have shook out different, I really, in my heart, believe he could have been the number 1 middleweight of all time. And I would say Kelly Pavlik, September 2007 when he fights Jermaine Taylor, or 2006 when he knocks out Edison Miranda. Nobody's beaten that version of Kelly Pavlik. He was 6'3", 160 pounds. He could, amazing boxer, fantastic hand speed, and every time he hits you, it was like you're getting hit with a baseball bat. I mean, that kid could just punch like a motherfucker. He could just really punch.
All right, who's your last one?
Last one, boy. I got to say Chavez Sr. He was always my favorite one growing up. I remember when De La Hoya beat him, I kind of cried. I was just a big Chavez Sr. fan. He was like my first. I was young. I was like 9, 10, 11 years old when he was out. So he was like my first like big, superstar that I followed.
Okay. And just so the fans know, Kelly Pavlik's got some videos out there too, some instructional videos. I like to watch those videos as well. And I'm a huge fan of Kelly's too. He's a great guy. And
we also have an app. So anybody interested in the app, it's in the iTunes store, Apple iTunes store. It's called the Sweet Science Plus. So Sweet Science Plus, you'll get some video instruction from Kelly Pavlik. You get daily workouts. It's really a old school, tremendous app where you're going to learn how to box, without being in the gym.
Okay. And yeah, in the beginning, you didn't mention your gyms. What's the name of your gym so people know?
The Sweet Science Boxing and Fitness. So I have a couple of locations. I have one in Naples, Florida, and one in Cape Coral, Florida.
Okay.
We're looking to have about another 1,000 of them. We got a great concept. We got a great gym, good community of people, and we want to spread it around the country.
Nice. All right. Question 3: what advice do you give a kid that wants to become a boxer?
So I would say, if you want to become a boxer, you just have to know what goes into it. There's a lot of sacrifice. Number one, it's a dangerous sport. You're going to get hit in the face. You might not see the effects of that till down the road, but it's not just about becoming a boxer. It's not just about working hard, but you have to give up a lot. If you're in school during the day till 3 o'clock, most gyms are open from 3 till 6, 4 till 6, 4 till 7. You're going to have a hard time getting a job. So you're going to miss out on football. You're going to miss out on baseball. You're going to miss out on basketball. You're going to miss out on working. You're going to be broke for a while. And you're going to get hit in the face. So it's really, really, a tough way, to earn a living. But I will say that the rewards are definitely worth it. You're going to learn about yourself. You're going to find out, you're going to be put in uncomfortable situations. And that's what life's all about. I didn't take business class. I didn't have any special education. But the lessons I learned through boxing, if you apply those same lessons to life, you'll be successful in anything you do.
I totally agree with you. All right. Question 4. Your favorite fight you were ever involved in through your career?
Gosh, I'd have to say the John Duddy fight. I mean, it was just a big fight. I was a big underdog. He was, I think, 24, 25-0. He's ranked number 2 in the world. And I was a big underdog going into the fight. And, I really believed in myself. I knew I was going to win that fight. I believed that I thought that he was a little bit overrated. I just saw some things in the way he was fighting I knew I could exploit. And it's one thing to say it, but then it's one thing to go out there and do it. And, midway through the fight, when you're tired, you're going to catch your second win. We all have a choice if we're going to keep pushing or if we're going to try to go into survival mode. And I just remember I just kept pushing. I just believed in myself. And it really was a life-changing win. After I beat him, I got ranked in the top 15 in the world, and I was able to fight for the IBF world title and, get bigger paydays. And, it really, really just changed the trajectory of my whole life, that one victory.
Okay. Question 5. Do you have any boxing superstitions?
I guess I have a lot of them, I would say do not watch pornography. Don't watch pornography when you're training. Don't watch pornography for the fight. It does something to your spirit. I would just, it's kind of a taboo topic. People don't want to talk about it. But listen, if you're a fighter and you're serious, you say you want to be a fighter, don't watch that dirty shit. You're messing your mind up. I would have little superstitions of wanting to wear the same pair of socks or an old pair of trunks, something that I won in before. all that stuff matters. At the end of the day, it's all energy. So you want all the best energy on your side.
Okay. Question 6. Who's the one fighter that you never got to fight in your career?
I would have liked to have. I would have liked to. I challenged for the title at 160. I would have liked to have fought for the title at 154. So there was, guys like Corey Spinks or guys at 154. I thought I really could have won the title. What happened was I fought 154, and when I fought John Duddy, he was a middleweight. I moved up in weight class to fight him, but I weighed in at 155. I was like 5 pounds under, which is unheard of. So when I beat him, I got ranked in middleweight. So it was kind of a double-edged sword. I won, and it was a great victory, but I got ranked in a weight division ahead of me. So a lot of the big fights I got with guys were a lot bigger than me.
Okay. Let's see. Question 7. What is something that your boxing fans don't know about you?
I don't know. I have 3 kids. I'm really a family guy. I don't, sometimes when you're on video, you can look kind of, I think just being on camera makes you look like a big, arrogant, or you look a certain way just having the camera in front of you. But, I'm a pretty laid back guy. I have 3 kids. I'm a family guy. I don't drink alcohol. I don't do stupid shit. I'm really kind of a homebody.
Okay. Question 8. If they made a movie about your life, what actor would play you?
Oh, well, he got to be a handsome actor. He wouldn't be the tallest actor, but he'd be handsome. I don't know. Something I never think about. And I don't really watch enough television to know who is even an actor nowadays. I say, maybe like a De Niro from, but that's back in the day. He's obviously too old to do it now.
Okay. Question 9. What is the craziest or the funniest story that ever happened between you and a boxing fan?
A boxing fan? Gosh, I really can't think off the top of the head. It was usually, I'm not a superstar, so when people would ask me for an autograph or come talk to me, I always try to be polite. I was, honored that they wanted to take the time to speak with me. So I always try to make sure that, the interactions were good. And I was never at a point where I got bothered everywhere I went, or maybe a different side of me would have came out.
Okay. Question 10. Who's the one boxer, alive or dead, that you'd want to sit down and have a conversation with that you never had a chance to?
Oh boy, that's a great question. Wow, great question. I'd love to sit down with I think probably Sugar Ray Robinson. I kind of think he might be the greatest of all time. And, obviously he's not around anymore, but and it was a different era too. I'd be interested in just seeing how the game was different. And, the game, like every other sport, has evolved. So he'd be cool to talk to.
Okay. Question 11. What's the most dangerous thing you've ever done besides boxing?
Oh, besides boxing? Huh. I'm not like I got enough thrills from the game of boxing. So, I got my kicks. I have no ambition to skydive, to bungee jump. I went parasailing one time, and, that's when you're attached to the string on the back of the boat. And that was enough for me right there. I maybe just riding a dirt bike or just stupid stuff like that.
Okay. Question 12. If you could box in a celebrity boxing match with any actor or athlete, who would you pick for your opponent?
I want to say one of the Pauls, but they're a little bit bigger than me, so it'd be hard to give up 30 pounds to one of those guys. I would say it'd probably have to be definitely one of these woke artists, like a woke rapper or somebody like that. I just want to get them in the ring and make them fight a little bit, see what they have.
I think you and Justin Bieber would be a good fight. Right?
That's all right. He don't rub me the wrong way, but of course I get in there with him.
Yeah, but he's trained a little bit, and he's about your size.
Yeah, I seen him in there with Mayweather, and he looks like he throws some punches, but it's a little bit different when they're coming back at you.
That is true. All right, question 13. If you could have one superhero ability, what would you choose?
A good question. My son's into the superheroes, and it kind of has me weird. He does all this crazy shit, like whoosh, whoosh, and he talks about. I never got into like Flash and Spider-Man and Hulk, so I mean they're all pretty cool. I guess if you could fly, I mean you can't beat that.
Okay. Question 14. What movie or TV series could you watch over and over?
I would say, I like as far as TV series. I'm not a big, I don't like to. I'm not a TV. I don't, I waste a lot of time watching television. But I like, Yellowstone, 1883, all those kind of ones. My favorite movie is Bronx Tale, so I could watch Bronx Tale every day. It's
That is a good boxing movie.
just such a great movie about just about life, Bronx Tale. Um, you learn a lot from watching that movie. I really enjoyed it.
All right, question 15. If money wasn't an issue, what would be your dream vacation?
Dream vacation. God, I don't know. I do what I want. I really do. I live by the ocean, so I'm at the ocean all the time. I go up to Ohio for the summers. In the Midwest is Lake, so I do what I want to do now. I would say it would never be the money because that doesn't stop me anyways. Maybe I would think maybe go to like to Thailand or India and travel around that part of the world would be really cool. And to me, it's just the timing right now. I don't have the time to give, for a 20-hour flight.
Okay. Question 16. Do you collect anything?
Collect anything? I mean, I guess nothing crazy. No, I'm not like a hoarder. I like to make money, stack it up a little bit. We all want that.
Collecting those bills.
Yeah. Maybe get some silver, uh, things like that. But no, I don't have any. I don't have any collectibles. I had baseball cards and stuff like that as a kid, but not anymore.
Okay. Question 17. What's the last book you read?
I find a book I like and I read it over and over and over and over again until that book becomes a part of me. So I like a couple good books I probably read a dozen times. I read As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. That's a classic. Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, another classic. You Were Born Rich by Bob Proctor. So I really, to me, reading a book is like watching a movie. And we got so many hours on earth, so many breaths on earth. I want to make everything an investment. I think everything we do is either moving us closer to our goal or farther away from our goal. And I still, even though I'm retired, I still have goals nowadays. So I don't watch TV. I don't play video games. I don't read a bunch of bullshit. If I'm reading something, it's going to teach me something about myself and in some way I can improve an area of my life.
All right. That's a good tip, honestly. All right. Question 18. Who is the hardest puncher you've ever faced in the ring in a fight or sparring?
Kelly Pavlik, hands down, without a question. I mean, I would put a mask on, and he would wear 18-ounce gloves, and it was like a catcher that put their gear on and got hit with a baseball bat. I mean, that son of a bitch hit me so hard. I think I was the only one. No one else would spar him. They would bring guys in from out of town. You would spar, say, Kelly, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and you get paid on Friday. Maybe $1,000. He's a world champion. Guys would spar Monday or Wednesday and then leave before they got paid. I mean, he just hurt people. And I would go in there and I don't know what was the matter with me. I wouldn't say no. I didn't know how to say no. Everyone else was saying no, and these guys are bigger. I just get my I don't even know if I learned anything. I mean, it was bad.
All right. Question 19.
I fought some big punchers. I mean, James Kirkland was a big puncher. Martin Rosian could punch. Sylvester could punch. There's no one. It wasn't like a close second. I mean, it was like up here and with 18-ounce gloves and other guys with 10-ounce gloves. There was no comparison. I mean, it was just like crazy. He could punch, and there was a lot of them, and his arms were long.
Well, the good thing is you could still speak normal though after all that.
Yeah. I think about that. I'm very blessed. If there was one guy, we had me, Kelly Pavlik, Darnell Boone. Darnell's a great fighter too. He dropped Andre Ward. He knocked out Adonis Stevenson. He fought Kovalev to a draw. So
I think Darnell Boone is one of the most underrated fighters out there.
He was phenomenal. Here's a kid. I remember the first day he came in the gym. He came in off the street, and he was a street guy. He was tough, and he had a reputation. All the Boones had a reputation in Youngstown. He walked in and he told Jack. He said, "I want to give me who you got. I want to go in the ring." And Jack said, "Well, you know how to box." He said, "No, I could fight though." So he goes in the ring with Kelly, and Kelly beat him up and but he didn't drop him. And to me, it was like I couldn't believe to go 3 minutes with that guy. So Darnell Boone, I mean, if he'd had the right manager, the right training, he's a world champion without question. That guy, I mean, he was probably hard puncher number 2. He hit me. I heard the bell and saw stars. All those old cliches are true. Like he rang my bell or I saw stars. They get that saying comes because that's what happens. If you get clocked, you see stars for a second or you hear a bell ring. And Darnell Boone definitely rang my bell. He was a tremendous puncher.
Okay. Question 19. Do you have any hobbies outside of the sport of boxing?
Outside of the sport of boxing, nowadays I'm interested in health. So I guess I'm selfish. I'm just interested in myself, really. I want to be healthy. I do, some yoga stretches, the 5 Tibetan rites. I think those are the fountain of youth, five ancient exercises. You guys can Google them. I try to stay in a little bit of shape. I like to fast. I don't do any really intensive working out. I mean, all those days are behind me now. I just try to do enough to stay in shape. But, I like to just kind of challenge myself in different ways, whether it's fasting, dieting, stretching, exercising. I like to go in the cryotherapy chamber and ice baths or, extreme heat. So just different ways to kind of, stay healthy and push myself.
Okay. Question 20, your last question. What's your opinion on bare knuckle boxing and are you a fan of it?
Gosh, I mean, it's hard not to be a fan. It's great entertainment. It's crazy shit. I mean, those guys, you got to take your hat off. I mean, any combat sport, whether it's MMA, UFC, whatever it is, if you're getting in there fighting somebody, you have to respect that person. The bare knuckle, I mean, I always said, like, if I were to fight again, I'd want to try it because I don't know. I mean, it's almost like maybe boxing was 100 years ago. I don't know when they would go all those rounds with those little bare gloves on, but I think it's really kind of interesting to me because it's the different, even though it's just punching, it's different. Like you can't block. I can't put my hands up with 10-ounce gloves and take punches because if someone's hitting me with the bare knuckle, I just can't shell up. I have to try to make a miss. But you get hit with you get hit with a couple little jabs. You see those guys, their face look like they went through meat grinders. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know the future of it. It's pretty barbaric, but I mean, it's fun to watch.
Yeah. I mean, all they wear is wraps. That's it.
I mean, it is bare knuckle. They wrap their hands and their knuckles are exposed. It's crazy. Paulie Malignaggi, when he fought in it, I mean, what a huge disappointment he was. You got a boxer in there, which is boxing. When you're a boxer, you're supposed to have the best hands. I mean, like, you might get choked out in a UFC fight or tapped out, but on your feet with hands, you should win. And he went in there and he lost, which was, I thought, kind of embarrassing.
Well, maybe, who knows? They might give you a call.
I don't know. To get hit with them with no gloves on, those knuckles, they're going to have to, I don't even know. It might be $1 million for that one.
Well, listen, man, I appreciate you taking time to come on the show and being fun about the 20 questions and giving us the information about the videos and the Friday night fights. You got anything to say to your fans or anybody out there listening?
No, just believe in yourself. Nothing's impossible. Take it one step at a time. You don't got to get the whole goal on day one. Just take little steps. Anything's possible. You got to believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will. So from wherever you're at, start now. Just make a choice to start whatever you want to do and just do the best you can. Check us out. This is just the beginning. We got big things coming. Our Friday night fight series tomorrow night, 7:30 p.m. at Billy Lyell TikTok. Look for more Instagram videos. Look for Sweet Science Boxing Fitness gyms to pop up all around the country. And, when they do, come check us out because you're going to get a great workout.
All right. And with that, the truth has spoken.